Welcome back to our channel, TA Targets. Guys, my name is Jared. I'm one of the owners and the CEO of TA Targets. And typically on our channel, we come to you with different gear reviews. We do one-take range training style drills. We'll show you equipment and guns and other stuff. And we'll also showcase our target systems. And we also really like to talk about the culture. Well, recently I decided to go on a Facebook ad campaign venture and I learned a couple things. Mainly, I hate our culture so much, and I have a lot of recovery to get through with some of the comments that we read. But it actually, I think, is a good topic, and I think a lot of you are going to hopefully get a little bit of value out of this. If you are a new business owner, you're certainly going to get value out of this because I promise you this is going to be your experience at some point. So we pushed out some Facebook ads because we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We're building out different channels and new products and all kinds of different media. So we wanted to put certain videos on autopilot. And historically, we really haven't run hardly any Facebook ads. But the comments started rolling in and I was absolutely blown away by some of these things. So what we're going to do is Brenton over here, Brenton wave for the camera, awkwardly, more awkward.
Oh, sorry.
He posts the mic and everything. So Brenton over here picked around a dozen comments. Now, we may not get through all of them. It just depends on how I dive through them. I did not pre-read these comments, so it's going to be interesting for him to read them to me. I'm going to give my take on these. And guys, in the past on some of these, I haven't necessarily responded in the right way. And sometimes they're frustrating. Some of the stuff that people say, it really digs at you when you've poured your heart and soul into something that you're building. When people say they don't believe in you or don't believe in your product, it's really hard to navigate through that. But anyway, I'm sure there's some of those comments here. I'm sure you picked some winners.
Well, yeah, I've heard you're very combative in the comments section.
Can I give my example?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this one example was ridiculous. So this guy, essentially the way that I've handled comments since the beginning of TA Targets is if someone comes at me in a combative way, I am okay with swinging back with a little sarcasm. Like, maybe that's gaslighting. I don't know. We just talked about that. But if they come with a serious question, I'm always respectful. If they come with a respectful way to present an objection, I will be respectful back and I'll answer that objection. If they come in and they say hunk of junk, like half these cavemen on Instagram and Facebook do, I sometimes get a little sarcastic. I mean, usually if you leave a dumb comment, I just say interesting. So if you see interesting,
you messed up.
It just means that you're kind of dumb. But so this guy right here said, no matter right or wrong, when that company starts in with all that defensive crap and goes off on customers, see ya, horrible business ethics, let the product speak for itself. And with any negativity, meet it with understanding and positivity. Sounds like 15-year-olds running this company. That is Carl. Not to be mistaken for the Carl from Walking Dead. This one's not nearly as cool. So I simply said, we aren't arguing with anyone. If you have questions, I'm happy to help. He responds, literally arguing with everyone. Point proven. Was he gaslighting
a good argument.
me?
Yeah, he was gaslighting you.
Okay, so like that's a true example of gaslighting.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the best at that.
I don't even know how to handle that comment. I am now 8 years in business. I'm just ignoring that at this point.
I would. It's not worth it.
Isn't it though?
A lot of these comments are not worth it. So
yeah. How many did I respond to though?
A lot, like most of them.
Oh jeez. Oh no.
So let's ask the first one.
I'm gonna clean out all of our ad history and just start over. We're just wiping that slate clean.
Start over.
There's only like 1.2 million people have seen our ads. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. George here says, nice ripoff of MGM targets. Let's innovate. Nah, just easier to steal another company's design, tweak it a little, and claim it as our own.
Yeah, so we get comments like that quite often. Over time, as we've created systems, oftentimes better, quite frankly, than our competition. There's always somebody that assumes that you've ripped off something from someone else, because oftentimes we're working within competition size and spec targets. Like at the end of the day, shapes and sizes, we base them off of the most prominent shapes and sizes in the industry. So on the surface level, people will say, oh, well, that plate looks the same as the other thing. It's like, well, yeah, because they're the same dimensions. Like they're all based on the same competition target. So spoiler alert, yeah, they look exactly the same. Now, when it comes to the auto reset poppers, which is what he was referring to, he was claiming that one of the other major manufacturers in the industry, they have something called auto poppers. He claimed that we copied their design. The only thing in common with our design and their design is the plate falls over and stands up. Other than that, the entire premise is different. How it connects, how it works, how we form it, cut it, powder coat, everything's different. The steel we use is different. So the thing that I've learned, and I did engage with him a little bit, mostly because it was, I don't know, I was a little feisty that day. But I've learned that paying attention to my competition when it comes to what they're doing isn't worth my time. Now, I do watch marketing trends. Like, I'll pay attention to what other companies are doing in their marketing. But the last thing that I'm ever doing is copying what somebody else is doing. Now, some of our systems, like I said, there might be reasons why certain things look similar to other things. And when it comes to certain methods of attachment, like gongs and things like that, yeah, there's certain things that carry over from company to company because, quite frankly, there's no simpler way to make it work. But that doesn't mean that the company that you're looking at is just outright copying people. And even if they are, that is capitalism, my friend. Now, I'm not doing that. But hey, if somebody looks at your thing and does it better than you, you better get your crap in gear and do it better than them, because that's just competition. It is what it is. So I don't pay attention to what that company is referring to talks about. I do me. We do us. We do media. We got that Riz. Onward.
All right. Alfred asks, $270 each. The question at hand is, should I buy one or spend $275 on more ammunition?
Yeah, so I actually appreciated that comment a lot.
Yeah.
I think that is a very smart way to look at things, because that guy is not saying, your target's $275. Holy crap. What the heck, man? What he's saying is, which is the priority? And honestly, if you ask me what's the priority, guess what, guys? I'm going to say probably ammo and training. I know I'm dismantling my own marketing, but if you are on a tight budget, maybe it is better to get some ammo and training. And if you can't afford the steel target and get the ammo and the training, get our cardboard targets. And we've got new products coming that are going to make that even less expensive for you. So there's other ways that you can support us if you like what we're doing, but also, save some money. But yeah, prioritizing what you need to do with your money is important. I appreciated that one. I even responded to him in a really nice way and kind of laid out, like, if you have a good foundation, you already have ammo, yeah, get the target. But if you don't have ammo, don't have foundation, go ammo. And he didn't respond, but they never do.
Yeah, that's still a good response to that. Someone had a comment regarding the breakdown base, and a lot of people had this comment. They were saying, basically, look at all the screws you threw on the ground, and like, that's so disorganized. There's so many pieces, takes forever to set up.
Yeah.
What is your response?
So I think one of the things that I learned is, like, you and I often do a lot of artistic content where we do what we call in our marketing team ASMR content. It really is kind of like ASMR.
Yeah.
Like, when we say ASMR, we're not like up on the mic, like licking lips. Oh, geez, he did it. We're not making mouth noises on our mics. What we're doing is like artistic, where we're focusing in on shots and sounds and like trying to, capture people in that video. That video was long.
Yeah.
And, looking back, hindsight 2020, I know for me, setting up a breakdown base takes 30 seconds. Literally, we've done it 100 times on the range. It takes me 30 seconds. You're getting cameras set up. I'm slapping breakdown bases together. That is if I even decide to take them apart. Yeah. Like, the reality is there's a lot of people that are naysayers right now. And some of that's because I feel like I didn't show it properly in these advertisements. So I misconstrued what I think people should expect out of the breakdown base. But there's a lot of hate for that base. I would say more people like it than hate it, but there's enough people out there that are like, why did you change the Gen 1, Gen 2 base? The Gen 1, Gen 2 was awesome. It's because I care about you. That's why. It's less expensive, and it's fully serviceable, and it's more compact. So it's just a better revision all around. But it's easy to see stuff like that, guys. If you're a business owner, you're releasing a product, or even if you're supporting companies, just keep that in mind when you see comments like that. Jump in and support them, because that kind of stuff digs at you,
Yeah.
And I'll throw my bolts wherever I want, even on the ground.
All right. Jasper says, I know you have to make a profit on your product, but it is very expensive. So that is why most people shoot pallets or signs or bottles or cans or cinder blocks or cones or water heaters or dryers or cabinets or paper targets instead.
If he would have put his time into getting a job other than typing on Facebook, he could probably afford the target. That was mean. So we get a lot of these comments, and I only ever get them on Facebook. Like, do we ever see that on Instagram or TikTok? Never.
Rarely. Yeah.
Never do I see that on TikTok and Instagram. And I think it's age demographic. I think that's part of it. I really think like there's a lot, and this isn't an age bash. I'm not beating up on older dudes, but there's a lot of older dudes, I'd say in their 60s, that kind of grew up in a more like primitive shooting environment. Like they just went out and they plinked on cans and stuff. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, but I think that's their upbringing. You know what I mean? And they're from a generation that really held on to their money. And so when you try to tell them that this is worth it, it's like hard for them to comprehend that spending $300 on a target makes sense.
Yeah.
But I also look at these public ranges and a guy like that saying what he shoots, guys, answer in the comments, what kind of an odd, or let me put it this way. What are the odds that that guy actually cleans up after himself? What are the odds that after he shoots a water heater out on a range that he decides to go pick it up after it's riddled full of bullet holes, all the internal heating elements are blown out the back, all the metal fragments have gone into nature? Look, I'm not a greenie, but at the same time, I think that we should be good stewards of the land that we're given. I think that we should be good stewards of the earth. And so I'm a huge proponent of not shooting trash on the range, even if it's wood, like pallets, leaving nails lay and stuff. It's just not a good idea. It's not a good look for people that are on shooting ranges. It's not being a good steward of your resources. So by the time you get that water heater and you lug it in your pickup truck and you get your trailer and you burn your fuel and then you take it out to the range and you decide to leave it there and you get a $300 or $1,000 fine for littering, yeah, it'd be cheaper to buy our target. And it'd be less of a headache. You're going to have a safer. That's the other thing too. Half that crap that he's listing isn't even safe. You know, and there's a lot of people that think that I'm just blowing smoke when I say things aren't safe. And I'm serious. Like, you can die from shooting the wrong things with bullets. That is not a joke.
Well, actually, talk about that for a little bit. I was going to bring that up. There's a lot of comments about our steel, how it's just not worth it because like you can build anything.
The interesting part is people look at steel targets and they say that can't be safe. Okay. They look at them and say that. They're like, we're going to get a ricochet. And I saw tons of those comments. Yeah. And then those same people will be like, I can get that target by shooting a railroad tie that I find at my local fab shop or tool steel or something else. Like, they just list these things. I'm like, on one hand, you just told me that a curated target that has been precision manufactured with one purpose, and that is to take bullets, blow them into fragmentations and send those fragmentations in a safe direction. You've said unsafe. And then you at the same token say, I can do it cheaper by using scrap steel. It's like, which one is it? It can't be both. You know, we've poured at this point, this is no joke. I know some haters can be like, no, there's no way, millions of dollars into this business to get it to this point. And so much of that is putting our rounds on our targets, testing designs, refining things, making the safest targets that are possibly created. And one other thing, I'm going to go on another rant. People think that because I say we have some of the best targets on the market, that I think everything else in the market's trash. I saw a lot of those comments. A lot of those. A lot of people were like, oh, you're just slamming your competition. No, I'm slamming Billy Bob Joe, who goes to his local fab shop and says, give me that there piece of steel. I want to take it down range and shoot it. That's the guy I'm slamming, because what he doesn't realize is he could kill himself or someone who's just totally innocent minding their own business, because he's going to fracture that plate or dimple that plate. It's going to send fragmentation back at him or somebody else. People die from that kind of stuff. And I take that very seriously. But there are quite a few companies on the market that make really solid systems. If you don't want to support us, fine. Go support them. That's not me being cocky. In fact, like, you can't call that cocky. I just told you, if you don't want to support us, go support somebody else. But yeah, there's just a lot of misinformation. And to the point where, like, people think that, you know, like a bullet that's getting hit by a plate that's swinging is going to send the bullet back. Like, this isn't freaking baseball, guys. Like, anyway, Brenton and I are lining up an extremely high speed camera. We're going to take it out to the range and we're going to game all this stuff. We're going to show you guys that what people are thinking about is not even remotely what actually happens with a bullet when it impacts steel. I'm excited to do that because
I think that'll be really cool to see.
Oh man, we need to work on this. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Anyway, sorry for the rant.
No, you're good. So John asks, what's wrong with swinging metal targets?
And I think I responded to that, nothing.
Yeah, you responded to that.
I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, people think that, oh, because we're promoting a complete system that I hate gong targets. Well, kind of spoiler alert, we've actually got a very inexpensive gong system coming that is, I think, going to be the least expensive that I've ever seen on the market. And it has the exact same grade steel that we always use, which is epic.
Yeah.
Made in US by us, culture changers, radical, stock slapping, machine gun toting rednecks from Southeast Pennsylvania, making the steel for cheap for all you, I don't know how to say it nicely, plain folk out there. Now, for all you people that don't necessarily see value in spending a ton of money, like, look, I get it. Maybe it doesn't make sense for you to spend $300. I don't have anything against gongs. I think that you should hang them properly. I think that people can do it in an unsafe way, but the biggest thing is the graded steel. People are using steel from Amazon. They do not know the history of the steel. They're assuming that nobody on Amazon is going to lie to you. Like, how do you know? How do you know? That says AR 500, AR 550, but did you test the steel? No, you didn't. You trusted them. They sold you this like 20-inch plate for $40. Bro, you can't even buy US material for that. Like, you physically can't even buy that material in that size. It's not possible. Mathematically, it doesn't work. So there's something else going on. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not lying to people. I'm not trying to sales pitch people. There's so many people I was like, just watch out. Be careful what you're using. And they're like, holy cow, you must be a...
Stop
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, I can't imagine going through all those comments and responding.
Well, I wanted to respond because other people read it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to respond also for the engagement so that we continue to get engagement on the post. But yeah, dude, it made me dumber.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not stabbing at people with legitimate points either.
Yeah.
There are people that literally drop a comment and it's just to be rude.
Yeah.
And I don't really care about offending them.
All right. Robert says, this is why others won't join the 2A community because of terrible pricing like this. This should be about $80 to $150 max. We already kind of addressed the price situation, but I saw a lot of comments like this about how like the 2A community is just all about inflating numbers and making everything super expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the reality of this is I make a product in the US.
Yeah.
It's like, you like to get paid, right?
Yeah.
Our team likes to get paid, right? It's like, you know, I don't pay anyone here minimum wage. There's nobody on our team that makes low pay. And I'm proud of that. But that has its own cost. It's like, if I have 4 hours wrapped up into a system and I'm paying people good wages, like, you guys do the math. It's not something that's cheap to produce, and it's not holding back the 2A. Like, I see that a lot about people. They'll say that about like Glock pistols. Like, it's a $600 pistol. It's limiting people's ability to get into the 2A. It's like, nah, go buy a Taurus if you're that cheap. Like, nobody cares about a gun being sold for $600. And in fact, now I don't know if this is the case now with inflation and everything. For a long time, their Glocks, like, landed cost of their pistols was like $50. And people are happy to pay $600 for it. Like, these people that complain about cost have no idea what they consume in their regular life and how much pillaging they are willingly taking. But then as soon as a company in the US builds a product, they're like, oh no, it can't be worth $300. But yeah, to his point of like, it's affecting the Second Amendment community. No, it's not. Like, we as a society are horrible at managing our finances. Your ability to purchase a $300 system, yes, it could be because of your financial situation right now. I'm not downplaying that at all. More often than not, it's because of lack of discipline, not because of lack of ability. That's all I have to say about that. Okay.
All
Next
right.
one.
Charles says that wooden post isn't going to last very long. And that was, I believe, the video of you just spraying a target essentially with a whole bunch of different calibers.
Yeah. So I showed a video that I thought was pretty cool. I laid out this reel. It showed it like escalating through 9mm to, I think it was like 223, 300 blackout, 4570, 12 gauge buck, 12 gauge slugs, I think, something like that. That was a cool video. And
I thought it was cool.
The funniest part was, like, I'm pretty sure I responded with "that's what she said."
That was a different comment, but yes,
okay.
that was something about hammering the
the post.
Or something. Yeah,
it was funny. And one guy was like, "That earned a purchase." But anyway, getting kind of back on topic with that, the wood post is a consumable item, of course. When the bullet or when the plate rotates backwards and the fragmentation goes down toward the ground, it does chew up the post. Now, you could put the plates at a more vertical setting if you want, and then it doesn't hardly touch the wood post at all. But if you want the longest longevity, that's when you would adjust that plate to have a lot of aggressive lean. And then when the bullets hit that fragmentation goes down to the ground. but the consequence of that is it does chew up the post. But we have 2x4 posts that are soon to be available on our website that are super inexpensive. Easy way for you guys when you're purchasing targets to get some 2x4 posts, or you can go to your local lumber yard and get them. They're like $3.
And we also have the armored posts.
And we have the armored posts as well.
Solve that problem.
Yeah, the armored post, it's expensive, relatively speaking, but I mean, at the same time, like, you got to be careful when you throw the word expensive, because you just have to weigh it out over time. Like, how much is it saving you over time? Well, these targets are going to last you 15, 20 years. How many 2x4s are you going to go through if you're a serious shooter? And the answer is hundreds. So you could pay for an armored post very quickly. So,
all right, last question here. Carl says, one day with my 308 win, it would be Swiss cheese even at 300 yards.
Yeah, I got a lot of flack for responding to that comment because 308 is an unimpressive caliber. Across the board, it is unimpressive. Hey, Brenton, how close was I shooting my bolt action rifle in all those videos?
10, 15 yards?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were close.
Did it do anything to the steel?
No.
What about the 3/8? Because that's thinner. Like, did it do anything to that one?
I don't recall it.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It did not. Like, 223 will do more damage on steel than the 308 every day of the week, because small, fast bullets are what damage steel, not fat, slow ones. Like, 308 at best is like 2,800 feet per second. It's slow, and it's a big bullet, big fat nose. So when it hits the targets, it spreads that energy out over the plate. It doesn't dimple the plate. It's just an unimpressive caliber. And I said that. I was like, 308's not even the caliber to worry about. And I got a lot of flack for that. But it's just like these FUDs kind of that are just used to hunting rifles and stuff. And they're just like, 308 is going to destroy your target. And I'll line up with any of our targets with a 50 and just hammer it. And I won't even flinch. And the target won't either, because we designed it well. The target in question in the video is designed well. It'll take it. It's designed to take it. We have tested every single system beyond the point where you ever will. And the cool thing is, like, if you use it properly and it fails, guess what we have, Brenton?
Warranty.
What? We actually stand by our product.
Yes, we do.
Are you serious? Like, we'll replace it?
No, 100%.
Dang.
Yeah.
Bro. Like, I'm starting to think that I care about the customer.
That's crazy.
Am I gaslighting right now? But really, there's one other comment. I don't know if you had it. This one dude swore that we should be able to make the target for $30. Okay. I'm going to just quickly run through some of the costing a little bit, just off the cuff. I don't remember our exact numbers in the system that we're talking about. But those poppers that we sell for like $275, we probably have $200 in. Till it is manufactured by an American with American steel. The hard ox that we buy is from Sweden, because apparently Americans don't know how to make armor. That's the only plate that we buy outside the US. And I'm honestly proud of that, because we buy direct from the mill that is curated to our specification. And it is the only steel that has been consistent enough where I'm willing to put our name on it. So, but aside from that, everything's cut and formed here in the United States. And we're supporting so many industries with our products, from the sheet metal that comes in to the armored plate to the hardware that we purchase here in the US, from the stickers that we get created here in the US, from the powder coating that happens right up the road from our shop. You start to trickle down through all of the processes that happen with these products, and you realize that probably like 100 American hands have touched a product that we produce. And then somebody has the audacity to complain about the price being $275 and has the ignorance, that's the best word that I could use for it, to say it's worth $30. You couldn't buy a plate this big, like that big. If you wanted to buy it, you're going to spend more than $30 or close to it of the material that we're running. If you wanted to get the custom machine pins for our product, you couldn't do it for that price. They're expensive. It is what it is. So the reality is, most of the people that are commenting like that have no grasp of what it takes to produce a product, and they're ignorant. And so I shouldn't get mad about it. Sometimes I get frustrated by it. If you're a business owner, you're manufacturing a product, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody and their cousin believes they can make it for cheaper, better, faster, and longer. And what I would say to that, if you're watching this video and you feel like you're one of those people, do it. Go out and do it, because that's how we started. You should go out and do it if you truly believe that you can. Just don't troll other companies and act like you're the boss when you haven't even been in the space at all. There's a little bit of a disrespect there. That's probably my biggest problem, is it's super disrespectful when I'm just trying to pay my team. You know what I mean? I'm trying to grow a business, and literally my actions and my ability to sell our product pays our team. So like, how disrespectful of somebody to get on our feed and be like, you should sell it for cheaper. It's like, okay, cool. Then I can fire my whole team.
Well,
You know
I
what I
like
mean?
your response to some of them is just go do it.
Yeah.
Like, show us.
Yeah. Because I'd applaud them.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you can create a product that's better than mine and you do it for the price that you're claiming, I applaud you, because you figured something out that I couldn't. And I think you should be proud of that. But I'm going to keep scaling this business, and you're not going to do anything, because 90% of these people all talk. Does that kind of wrap up our comments?
Yeah, that's it.
So guys, I have no idea what the purpose of that video was, other than to get some stuff off of my chest. Maybe it kind of paints the picture a little bit about who we are and where we're headed. One thing that I'd encourage you is, if you see our advertisements pop up and you know who we are and you have interacted with our company and you've seen who we are firsthand, drop a comment, please. Let people know that, hey, I rock TA Targets and this is who these people are, because that would help us sort of disband some of this negativity towards our brand. Because the reality is, when we started pushing those advertisements out there, apparently we broke out of our echo chamber that we have created over the last 8 years. So that's a really good thing, but it's also very hard to navigate when you're constantly getting barraged with negativity from people, and then they gaslight you and say you need to be positive. How ironic. How ironic. Guys, if you want to show some support to us, there's links down in the description. You can purchase t-shirts like the Overland tee that I have here, the Sunset Overland tee. We've got the hoodie version of this. We've got the Exodus hoodies as well. The 7Fs is my favorite hoodie. It's got the 7Fs of culture on it. You can purchase that apparel at the links in the description below. You can also grab a steel target, because we pour our heart and soul into these systems to create the best systems we possibly can. They're going to last you your lifetime. They're going to serve you well. And ultimately, they have a warranty there in a company that actually gives a rip about you. So if there's a failure that happens while you're using it properly, we've got your back. We're going to stand by you, get you set up, get you ready to rock and roll. And there's no other target company that's operating quite like we are. So if you appreciate the content, you like what we do, that's a great way to support us. Brenton, send them away with some motivational something or other. Give them some riz.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
So Brenton is behind the camera, not in front of the camera from now on.
It's not my job.
It's not his job to educate and entertain. It's not my job. We appreciate you guys. Catch you in the next one.